Like every other morning, my boyfriend got up early on the cold January 15, 1987. However, this time he came back with eyes that looked very excited. Our flight was going to happen. Unfortunately, I was too sick to care about anything but resting. He was so insistent that I felt like I was being dragged out of bed to get dressed. I felt a little better when he left for a moment, hoping he'd come back. When I looked out the window, though, I saw the storm, a raging blizzard with whiteout winds whirling around very quickly. As soon as the shower started, I knew I was in big trouble. He yanked me out of bed before I could say no. I was sick to my stomach and couldn't stand up straight. He ignored my complaints. My fuzzy mind kept playing his words. We're flying. From 5,000 feet up, the storm goes away. It was confirmed by the expert. What kind of person would believe that? Beyond, the sky was a mess. He came back from the hotel and put my worries to rest. I didn't understand why anyone would try to fly in those conditions. But he wouldn't give up. He pulled me into the shower. It's time to go. You're coming too, he said. I knew that resisting would not help. That's the last thing I said. Not in this lifetime. A chill ran down my spine as the balloon rose. It was a mix of excitement and fear. It tingled all over my body. We left the world and disappeared into the clouds that were floating around us, giving us a strange blanket of silence and mystery. The strangely still atmosphere was only broken by the gas burner's roar, which sounded like a dragon hissing. The clouds suddenly parted, showing delicate shapes that looked like cotton candy floating in a sea of blue. Going down to skim above a frozen mountain lake was fun with the wind. As we laughed, the bright colors of other hot air balloons mixed with the sounds of animals racing below. It hit me with a force I didn't expect at 12,000 feet. I am not my body. My spirit was flying as I gave in to the moment. We drifted to a holy spot that was bathed in sunlight. The alpine fields of Miraculous welcomed me like an old friend. This is where my grandmother's love brought us back together after many years. Her appearance reminded me of how she comforted me when I was sick as a child, which made me feel better about the guilt I had been feeling for her death. In this magical realm, we reunited beyond space and time, embracing the love that has always bound us. I was surprised to find comfort in the ground beneath our feet as we got closer to a bright light. I walked across a valley with confidence, knowing that it looked a lot like my real life but was nothing like what I thought heaven was like. It was a hub where the past, present, and future all fit together perfectly. Several worlds crashed into Earth, which broke my simple ideas of what was good and bad and hot and cold. I shed my human form and am now wearing a silk dress from a long time ago, maybe from a past life. My life turned out like a big show on stage, with loved ones talking to each other in a language that was more than words. A language of pure love. I knew I would follow them as they each left. The last figure, who I didn't know but was clearly strong, spoke directly to my soul, cutting through my thoughts and logic. You will bring about love, change, and spiritual awareness. Linclair, he said, we will meet again in 27+1. I felt loved and recognized when he spoke those words, but I didn't know what they meant for years. Over time, the meaning became clear, showing the difficulties that lay ahead. We shared life and love in a way that went beyond the physical when I saw my grandma and father again. I thought of a scary adventure I had in the woods in 1977. It was a moment I will never forget. Even though I was miles away, my dad was having a heart attack. His death truly affected me, even though we had grown apart in time. He couldn't protect me from the psychic forces inside me, which made me frozen with fear of the emotional pain these skills could cause. But as time went on, I realized that my bond with my father and other people was much stronger than blood. The bond was strong, and neither of them needed his or anyone else's acceptance. This meeting taught me that love and pain don't always go together. Death isn't the only thing that can cause grief. Even though it may feel like love is being suffocated, love is actually always moving. Soul, body, and spirit are all linked by like an endless river. The same energy rides on light in an infinite space where life and death cohabit. It flows through every breath, in and out, like a wave that rises and falls and fills the spaces between heartbeats that we can't see. The energy swirls on one side, cleansing and absorbing. On the other side, it starts over. As the experience grew stronger, my grandmother left me alone. That's when I heard it. The music. The beauty of these tones is so stunning that they make me cry even now. I thought I heard a hymn in the sounds of ascendance. It was a simple psalm that wrapped itself around me and echoed in perfect rhythm. The music was so pure and divine that it took away all stress. knowing the song like it had always been inside me, waiting to be remembered. The music filled me up. With my eyes closed, I let the sound still my whole being, everything that was inside me. When I sang this aria of kindness, love woke me up and I knew I was on the way to totality. I was leaving for home. Something amazing took place in the perfect silence before the light. I felt like an unknown force grabbed me and rocked me gently. Time seemed to blur, and there was an endless era where everything was still but knew a lot. In those holy moments, I knew that this seeing, this talking to other souls, had to have happened a very long time ago. It wasn't a finding, it was a reunion. We breathed the shared spirit into each other's minds and hearts. Even though I knew I was going to die, that death gave me a deep understanding of a love that never changes. I was linked to the one by a golden cord of love that will never end. I can still feel it. We renewed our goal to bring back and restore love's light in front of this throne that will never end. I have never seen or heard of such a deep dedication. After that, I got on an elevator instead of the tunnel that many people say it is. Someone was calling my name from the top of the mountain, and I was sure it was a loving voice. The sounds drew me closer, stronger this time, leading me to the unavoidable end. The music wasn't just sounds, it was love itself, giving my heart a peace I had never felt before. The director of this celestial journey then, as if by some invisible hand, told everyone to change into something else. I didn't see or feel the change, but all of a sudden I was wearing the most beautiful white and mother-of-pearl dress. It sparkled like it had a life of its own. It looked like spider webs were used to make the fabric so thin. It was covered in stardust and floated over my skin like a choir of little angels. Next thing I knew, this wasn't just a dress. This cloth with its shimmer was my divine signature, my energetic frequency, and the very core of who I am and who we all are. Beautiful, clear, pure light. Inner and outer parts of me felt as light as a feather. As I moved toward the altar like a bride, I took one step over the barrier. That was the moment I left my right footprint for all time. Just by looking at the swirl of light and sound, everything changed. In a moment, my life changed. Watching as light moved back and forth like a cosmic loom, that one thread was woven into a beautiful fabric. The pattern was both so complicated and so simple that I knew it had to be planned. As the loom moved with kindness that knew no bounds, I understood that this was time, music, and the very shape of the universe. I knew that the music was a variety of light that defined and filled space and wove the very fabric of time and space. I was in my house. I only had to take one step into the universal dance to get back to the source of all love. I saw in that light that my life and all of life are just sparks, like holograms, and it was the first time I felt happy. Genuine happiness. Even when we're in the middle of something beautiful, chaos can still find us. Shriek came out of nowhere and shook the whole room. It sounded like a needle being dragged across an old record. I could feel it. A loud sound that went through my mind, my heart, and even my space. Suddenly, I was fighting a monster I couldn't see. It was too hard for me to fight off the grip on my left ankle. I turned around to try to get away, but I couldn't. I tried very hard to remember everything I could, including the music and the pattern the loom was making. That was the end of today's event. I love reading what other people have to say, so please do. You already know what to do. Shine your light on the comments. Wishing you safety and happiness until next time.